Pule Molebati for Stories Untold. Thank you for choosing us as your source of information today. We continue with good news, as you know that this is indeed the home of good news. The story of Dr. Jabulile Msimango is told in her book that she titled Dear Mr. Entrepreneurship. It is there that she shares about her journey as an entrepreneur, how she had to start from the beginning, and she's hoping that through that story you take a page out of her entrepreneurial experience.
Life for Dr. Jabulile Msimango Galawe, popularly known as Dr. J, has not always been a bed of roses. Like most young South Africans after graduating, she followed the corporate route. The entrepreneurial seed that was planted in her as a young girl saw her leave the corporate world and venturing into business. Unfortunately, years later, she had to close shop and call it a day. As devastating as that was, she refused to let it be her defining moment. Our producer, deviates, spent a couple of days with this phenomenal woman whose credentials include, but are not limited to, being a coach, mentor, research supervisor for postgraduate students. This high-flyer achiever and business maestro lets us in on her journey of venturing into greatness.
Dr. J is a girl who grew up in Mpumalanga, in a small village called Mahushu, somewhere close to Hazyview, close to the Kruger National Park. We used to see animals every Christmas. My dad used to take us there every Christmas. So that's me, that's where I grew up. I did my, from primary school up until high school there. I did high school at a school called Bekswago. And then after that, then I moved to my tertiary education in the Free State, where I did my BSc and MSc there. And then after that, then I started my first job. It was in Cape Town. And then after that, then I came to Joburg.
A big sister who has footprints in the lives of her younger siblings.
Kulegu family la kunothando, kunomthandazo, kune education.
When we grew up, she was a quiet, reserved person. But as you see now, as she grows up and evolved and the things that she's doing, she's more open now and easy to really talk to.
The friendships she had made during various phases of her life sustained her, and they blossomed into beautiful sisterhood.
When we met, like 1998, I mean, I started 1997 and she started earlier, but we were in a what we call student Christian fellowship, and from that movement you're able to, because you have that basic understanding or the grounding in terms of similarities around maybe what you both are believing in. And when we actually joined that movement, and then we were part of the committee for that movement, and from her side, they knew all in the movement that if Jabulile was talking, like she was that person that is very disciplined. And then I think from my side, it's something that I liked about her.
In about 2013, you must have joined earlier than I did. But Ujabu has always been this very quiet. You know, she doesn't say much and whatnot.
She came to speak at a women's conference that I was facilitating, and I was blown away. I'm still blown away. I was gobsmacked about this woman, and I got to know her a little bit better, and now we have these 5 a.m. calls and conversations where we don't even say good morning to each other, we just get on to it.
Challenges are what makes life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes it meaningful.
I could see that, okay, this lady, because I worked in finance and kind of thing, I had, let's say, maybe information about people and whatnot. She's highly qualified, right? But the job that she's doing is not at her level, you know. At the time, she was a risk analyst.
Was it a strategy of sorts, at that level?
It was, I wouldn't say it was a strategy, because when I was there, it was my first time going back to corporate after I was running the business for about 6 years, and then it failed. And then after that, because I couldn't get a job, because when I was looking for a job, it's like, where have you been in the last 6 years? What have you been doing? And you've got a master's, you are a statistician, but you haven't been practicing. And everybody's reluctant to take you, which is an unfortunate thing in South Africa. If you fail in business, nobody wants you after that. But when I got there, my confidence was still very low. Because remember, when you fail, a lot of things happen there. You question your intelligence. You question your worth. You question a lot of things. So I was in that process of discovery and trying to recover from the failure, and my level of confidence was still low. When I looked where I was, my first job in terms of what I earned and the level that I was in, and then now going back to a lower position because you can't get the same level anymore because you've been out for a long time. All those things affect you. Why nobody wants to take me back? I go to all these interviews, no one wants to take me. You doubt yourself, you feel a failure, business has failed, you feel a failure.
That was a very difficult time. I was still young at the time, but I could observe, I could also overhear the conversation on the phone between her and my mom, and it was hard. Ama conversation as a phone, it was not the one oponsa ama joke here and there. It was sort of like, it was formal now, and it was like, I'm losing my sister. We a physical mumbona emzimbeni, but it was like someone else. She was not happy, she was not herself.
So I was there doing what I needed to do to get the little salary that I could get, while I was still planning and deciding what exactly am I going to do next. And then after, I was there for about 3 years, and then after that, then there was an opportunity to go to academia, because while I was there, I was also studying, I was doing my PhD then.
We have told numerous stories of entrepreneurship here on Stories Untold, but today we'd like to remind you, as a successful business owner and entrepreneur, it's important to plant the seed and uplift those who are up and coming in that journey. We now touch base with beneficiaries of Dr. Jabulile Msimango, how she has been able to uplift them in business and how she's still traveling with them, because it's also important, as we thrive for success, that we have sisters who are walking that journey with us.
Dr. J has made sure that the successive generations will benefit from the lasting legacy she has in the form of a book.
When I was writing this book, because I'm an academic, so one of the things that I've seen in books that we normally use is that they've got all these terminologies that an ordinary person must keep on Googling when they're reading it, and that makes people put the book down. One thing I realize is everybody loves love stories. Everybody has been in love in one point or another. So I thought, if I can narrate the story as a love story, make myself a character in the book as this Miss Entrepreneur who represents other entrepreneurs, and make the complex concept, entrepreneurship, amen, because amen can be complicated. Make it amen so that at least then when you tell the story, anyone who's been in a relationship, who has read love stories, can get into the story.
One chapter that really stuck out for me, and probably because I'm at a point where I'm deciding who's the better man. Is it Mr. Employer? Is it Mr. Entrepreneurship? You know, that's the chapter that, right now where I am in my life, that's the chapter that I really spent a bit of time, because I was like, how do you make that decision? You know, am I dumping Mr. Employer, who's a better boyfriend in terms of taking care of me, for somebody who's only shining now and later on? I mean, there's something going around where they say, you know, you have to check if the budget is operational or is it just for now kind of thing. So I'm asking myself, Mr. Entrepreneurship, are you just flashing this for now? And then as it goes, so it was that chapter hit home for me. And not necessarily just from a business point of view, but generally in life, to say sometimes you have to make a decision to say, am I staying with you or not?
I'd say social capital. It's a big thing for me. I just don't connect for the sake of connecting. So I study connections through social media. People party a lot, they post to Eva, and I'll be like, oh, you connected to this one. Okay, if I get to meet this one, I can get to. So I really use it, guys, and I'm not even shy about it. And it's really, you know, done the traction for me in other elements. So that's my favorite subject.
So for me, it was on the failure. So when I read that failure, the letter on that failure, I had these notes inside of me, like very, very, like those notes that tells you that you're uncomfortable about this. And then I'm that person, when I feel that way, I want to understand why and try to address it, because then it means it's an opportunity for me to learn something.
The intro of the book, it's my family. When she's talking about the parents, when she's talking about the sibling, when she's talking about the journey in that book, that touched deep, because for me, it's like I'm reliving the experience that we went through as I read that part of the book. And the other part of the book is when she talks about us women not celebrating ourselves. I'm the talkative one in the family, so she usually say to celebrate her even in Tengeko. So reading that letter, it also triggered something to say, even into ibukeka ingane, but when I've achieved, I need to celebrate it and I need to talk about it. It must be known that I've achieved.
And the way you've written this book is unbelievably exciting, because it's a conversation with Mr. Entrepreneurship, and it's thought-provoking, it's engaging, and I like that concept of making sure that the reader will see themselves in that, because I could see myself in that, in your story, particularly when your business failed and you had to let your team go and the pain you experienced.
She has the ability to relate and connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. The breakfast session for entrepreneurs she recently hosted was meant to let those in attendance make better decisions.
One of the things that I can maybe add is that in relation to financing a business, I've got a chapter in my book that talks about the business side. So what we had in mind when we were planning today's session is that because it's towards end of the year, and normally people get excited and go into spending and all that, is that let's have a financial empowerment session, so that when people go to the December holidays, they are wiser in terms of how they spend their money, how they allocate their money, and how they manage it, so that they don't come back in January and then they struggle.
Teamwork is the ability to work together towards a common vision, and her team members contribute towards upgrading her beliefs to match her vision.
I work with Dr. J as her social media manager. So initially I really just started with exploring her social media channels, trying to get the code to how we can communicate her brand better. And it's really just been helping in building her digital footprint, trying to find ways in which we can translate the work that she is doing digitally, and using that as an opportunity to reach more people and really just drive the bigger messaging behind the brand.
I help her in terms of the strategy around her brand, but also on the sort of research side with as a research assistant, helping her doing some research on her papers that she's busy writing and publishing.
It so turned out that she actually needed somebody to help her with the logistics for the event. So I was like, I'll do it. I mean, I'm here. She's like, no, I can't afford you. So it really didn't start off as a working relationship. I think I really just, knowing her and then also knowing about the book, I was quite excited to see how the event was going to turn out.
She texted me and said, no, I previously worked with people who used to do YouTube, who used to run my YouTube channel, and I'm looking for someone new, you see. So that's how now I got to join the team.
I'm supporting her on the brand and the communication side, and really my journey with her started in terms of focusing on her strategy, really getting a clearer sense of what kind of impact and purpose does she want to carry through it.
Hi, this is Tammy Kosher, and I just want to recognize Jabulile Msimango Galawe and for the role that she's played. We've been colleagues and friends for quite a few years now. She is the co-founder with the African Institute for Entrepreneurship. She's a remarkable entrepreneur and mentor, and I really want to recognize her. I think what really impresses me most about Jabulile is the way she gives to the young people that she works with.
Palesa Mokhatla and Dando Maseko, who are both under the tutelage of Dr. J, had this to say about her.
She is my research supervisor through the master's program that I am doing. People bring their personality in what they do. You know, it's more to learn about the fact that she's in business. Yes, she might be a research supervisor. I'm in business too, you know. It's to learn her journey, you know, to learn the phenomenal woman that she is. I love the fact that she walks the talk. She models what she says.
Amazing doctor, amazing friend, and amazing colleague. She inspires me to finish my PhD. It's something I've taken too long working on.
With the festive season almost upon us and the year 2023 around the corner, these are the messages of gratitude from everyone in her circle.
It was amazing to really know Dr. J and to be in the spaces right now where the relationship, the way it is evolving, is really creating something that we ourselves and myself I'm proud of. It's her winning season and I'm celebrating it. And I'm saying that you're doing so well. She is that person that really went through a lot, and where she is in the winning season and being part of that winning season is like, hey.
Thank you for pushing me. You know, in the 4 or 5 months that I've known you, you've really pushed me to do my best, because first of all, just the person that you are says to me, every time I need to go speak to you, I need to do anything for you, I need to level up.
Thanks for leaving us your legacy. Although this is not the entire piece, but whatever you've put down in this book, you know, I mean, you were brave enough, you know, not to feel judged.
She's been a great example to us, a great leader and a role model. Seeing, I think I'm comfortable with just getting my degree and just going to work every day, but having Uses of Fananayo to say there's more, there's greatness. And you see, as you move, as you apply for that and that and that, you know if it wasn't for her, I will say a degree from Wits, that's enough, and you will sit and be comfortable. So I will say to her, Ceci, thank you so much for being Usisi and playing your role as a big sister.
My message to her, all the best to what she is doing. I've seen the quality of work that she brings with the Dr. J breakfast sessions. I've attended almost all of them, and I am always amazed and wowed by the quality that she brings. So to her, I say keep going. I know she has already achieved a lot, but I think there's still a lot that she wants to achieve. So I wish her all the best, and I hope she reaches the point where she can rest and say, you know what, I've lived my life. This is the brand I wanted to build it at the standard that she wants it to be.
Thank you for being the incredible human being. Keep giving to the space, keep developing the people that you meet. I know she'll do it anyway, but it's just to say, do it with the awesome heart that you have, and big thank you.
We love and appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing Christmas, and I know 2023 is going to be amazing. So all the best at that.
Stay winning, stay being awesome. You know, we do this out of love. And hey, we are all venturing into greatness.
It's been an honor to know you, Jabulile, and an honor to have you part of AIFE, and in my life as a person who gives back and is a real inspiration to everybody who knows you and works with you.
We are all born great. We've got greatness within us, but no one else is going to make us great. No one else is going to validate that greatness for us. It is our responsibility to behave, act, believe that we are great. And the minute we start believing that we are great, that's the minute we're going to start seeing great things. I have seen great things this year. And it all started by me believing that I am great. I was born great. No one is owing me that greatness. No one is keeping it for me. It is within me. And when I started believing it, I started seeing it. I started living it. I started letting go of anything that was not great, because I started believing that if it is not great, it is not for me.
And on that note, we conclude our show here for today. We are back again with untold stories of ordinary Africans who do extraordinary things. Thank you for taking the journey with us. Until then, goodbye.